Hi, it's Richard Charles here again. This time we're going to be looking at a piece from the Grade 2 syllabus, which is called Just Kissed My Baby. So in your Trinity Rock and Pop Drums book, it's on page 26. It's originally recorded by a band called The Meters from New Orleans. That's what you heard a little bit of at the start of this. And it features a drummer with the fantastic name of Zigaboo Modeliste, sometimes known as Ziggy Modeliste. He's certainly worth looking into and having listened to more of him. If you can find some recordings, I'll try and point you in the right direction at the end of the lesson for some further listening. The grade 2 version of Just Kissed My Baby is a little bit simplified compared to the one that you've been listening to, and I'll talk you through some of the patterns and hopefully show you how we can get started on it. Now we'll try that broken down. First two things you get are bass, bass, snare. Followed by two hi-hats on their own, and I like to use the words not yet for that one. So we're going to go bass, bass, snare, not yet. And again, bass, bass, snare, not yet. And then we have a bass snare at the end of that. Bass, bass, snare, not yet, bass, snare. Just try that one more time a little bit slower. Bass, bass, snare, not yet, bass, snare. And the rest of the pattern just repeats not yet, bass, snare a couple of times round. So I'll do it slowly with the words. We're going to have bass, bass, snare, not yet, bass, snare, not yet, bass, snare, not yet, bass, then bass, bass, snare, not yet, bass, not yet, not yet, bass. Bit quicker. So now looking on at the bridge section, we have some open hi-hat sounds where you lift your left foot a little bit. I always find this sounds a little bit better if you don't open that top hi-hat completely. So I don't want to hear this sound. When you only hear the top hi-hat, it's nice if we can just open them slightly and get both of them washing together a little bit. So you get a bit more of a complicated sound. And I also like to use this part of my stick, the shoulder of the stick, just to make sure that we've got all the energy we have available to us to get both cymbals vibrating. If you notice, I'm also lifting the stick up a little bit higher and lowering my wrist to make sure that I'm hitting the shoulder of the stick when I'm playing the hi-hat. This is the sound that we don't want. Here's the sound we're after. And when we play this in the bridge section, we have to play a bass drum at the same time as the open hi-hat. So as your left foot comes up, your right foot goes down. And if we add in the whole of the rest of the pattern for the bar of the bridge, which is bar 29, we now get this. Just do that one a little bit slower. And then up to speed. before we have a look at the first page in more detail, I'll just share this diagram with you, which I find really useful for telling us which drum is written on which line. So you can see we've got a snare drum on the third space up, and then high tom-tom on the top space, middle tom-tom on the fourth line up, and floor tom on the second space up. It's always worthwhile having that to hand just to refer to so we know what's going on with the rest of the piece. Hi, we're now going to have a look at the first page of Just Kiss My Baby. I'll play along to the backing track and then we'll talk about some of the fills that they have at the phrase endings. For those of you who are working through the Trinity Rock and Pop books, I would very much recommend getting hold of the app. I'll post a link to that as well. You get a nice, useful mixing desk so that you can make certain things louder and quieter, and you can get rid of the drums if you want to get rid of the drums. So that time round, I decided to mute the drums. Where are we? Mute the drums there, and I'd also had the click or the metronome on 100%. Which meant that I could still hopefully stay in time. One game I like to play with this is to turn everything down apart from the bass guitar and then see if I can play the drums from the beginning and stay in time for the first line and hopefully coincide with the bass guitar when it does start on the second line. Drummers quite often automatically rush. That's going to be my excuse. So I'll just give that a go now and show you what I mean and see if I manage to keep the same tempo for all of 16 bars. 4 bars. Nearly. This time I'm going to play through the entire piece. I'm just going to double check that where it says DS at the end of the music, I'm going to go back to the curly whirly S, which is the sign, start of line 3, and then where it says 2 coda, I'm just going to play the very last note, which is a flam and a bass drum. When we get to the bar before the DS, which is the fill-in, my drum kit only has 1 mounted tom-tom, so I'm going to have to change things around a little bit there. Not decided what I'll do yet, we'll have to wait and see. So this is a run through of Just Kiss My Baby with the backing track. And the final bit of playing for this week's session is I'll just show you the sort of thing that Zigaboo Modelista was doing on the original that we heard right at the very beginning. Like I said before, if you do want to have a look out on YouTube or anywhere else for any more of the Meters tracks, this one is on there. His most famous one is a thing called Sissy Strut, which is probably around about grade 5 standard, but there are lots of people playing Sissy Strut on YouTube if you want to have a look at some of those. This genre or style of music is very much funk, and things that make it sound funky or put it in the funk genre are a syncopated bass line. So instead of the bass guitar, as we've heard, going and always playing on the beat, there are lots of gaps, and where the beat is, the bass guitar plays in between those beats. Boom, 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 and it just gives the whole thing a little bit of a lift. The original version has got lots of in-between notes or grace notes played with the left hand on the hi-hat and also on the snare drum, which just makes the whole thing skip along a little bit more. And instead of playing straight semiquavers, they're what's called swung semiquavers. So instead of going, they're a bit more that sort of sound. So I'll just play a little bit of this and try and make it sound a little bit more like the original.